it's crazy how much you can change your life right now. Anybody listening to this, like, I know for a fact tomorrow, if you don't like your life, tomorrow you could change it. I've done it. I mean, it hasn't been like the best processes. Like, I moved to Vegas when I was 19 with like $500, but I'm like, I'm gonna go make this shit work. You know what I mean? And because I didn't like my situation, the next day I did something about it.
You are now tuning in to the Relentless Project. Real people, real stories, real life.
Where are you from?
I'm from Michigan, but my family is from Panama.
Panama. Oh, we got a Panamanian.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
what you call it?
Panameño.
Panameño.
Yeah.
Well, what's up, brother? Welcome to the Relentless Project.
I'm
I'm
happy
Ish
to be here,
Lopez,
bro.
and we're here with
Happy
Adara47.
Yes, sir. Happy to be here, brother.
Musician. One question I like to ask people. Introducing yourself. How do you introduce yourself? Someone's like, who's Adara47?
That's hard to do because I'm an artist, and you look at my music every so often. My sound changes so much. I would just say I'm a creator, and I'm like almost an outlaw in the sense that I'm not here to play the game in the way that they want me to play. I'm here to break boundaries. You know what I mean? I'm here to change it up, not get put in a box.
Go against the grain.
I wanna be able to drop a reggaeton album and then drop a country album right after, and people not look at me crazy.
So that's been like a lot of artists are doing that nowadays. They're crossing genres, and it's working out very well for them, actually.
Yeah, for the most part.
How do you feel is the best way to break through genres? Like, do you feel you have to solidify yourself?
As long as it's genuine. A lot of the times you see a lot of people try and break into different markets, and it's not very genuine. Like Drake, he's getting clowned right now because he's like, I want to meet your madre, send my respects to your padre, mi amor. They're like, bro, this dude's not Spanish. This dude is he's not genuine. So it's not gonna hit the same way, like, let's say, whenever 6ix9ine did the crossover with Anuel. That hit, because he's a Dominican, whatever, it hit right. But like, just as long as you're being genuine, as long as you're being unique, and I think that before you can really move on to a different genre or a different market, you do need to find your main market at first, or that first market. That's
like your niche.
Yeah, your niche that's gonna push you up to the next where you need to be.
Yeah, I feel you need to have a good foundation of yourself, because I feel like, especially with music, I kind of dabbled in music way back in the day.
Yeah.
But I kind of did my own thing, and it hit very well with the people around me, which then kind of created this like this wave effect.
It's like a loop, like a
yeah,
positive loop.
Like
that pushes you to want to keep doing it.
Yeah, and like when you go in it for the wrong reason, or you're not being yourself, it's kind of hard to maintain that energy and that push forward. Because
it feels forced, or it feels. This is not. You can't. What are you gonna say?
How you get the name? Where does the name come from? What's it mean?
Well, when I started, I was Imagine, and then I was Imaginedaindigo, and then I was working with this manager from New York, Puerto Rican lady. Her name was AD the General. Well, in 2018, she died.
Oh man!
And I was trying to change my my name to represent something, so I found a bunch of names that started with AD, and then I looked into like the meanings of them, and Adar actually has a double meaning in 2 different languages. So it's like Hebrew and in Arabic. So and it represents like a balance between like the two, or heart and mind, good and evil,
yin and yang.
Yin and yang.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
And what's the 47?
Same thing. The 4 represents your heart, and the 7 represents your mind chakra.
Oh.
And those are always in a constant balance. And I'm a Libra, so
you do that
also
star
balance.
Shit?
Not really.
I don't even know that.
Not really.
I know I'm a Gemini because everyone tells me. I don't know what that means though.
I don't believe it like in the way that like girls do, that that just sit all day like, oh, I can't talk to you because you're a Pisces or whatever stupid shit.
Yeah.
But
you're a Gemini. You have two versions.
I do believe that like it does represent me in a way when it comes to like that message of balance is essential in life.
So let's go back a little bit. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
Detroit, Michigan. I was born in Michigan. When I was 2, I moved to Florida, or maybe I was closer to 4. I moved to Florida. I lived in Florida till I was like 10. Then I moved to Boston.
Damn, bro. You had every major state or
every
major city,
already.
bro.
By now I'm probably 12. I moved to Chicago, back to Michigan, and then I moved to West Virginia where I met
Andy.
Always grinding.
Always grinding. He was just on the show, dude. I was talking. So I went to fights after that Saturday after we recorded, and I was talking to Hunter, who I guess AG knows, and we're sitting there talking. He's like, "Dude, that kid, man, there's something about that kid." I'm like, "Yeah, there is something about him." Like he's like, I feel like we connect a lot because I personally don't invest in myself a lot.
Yeah.
But I'll go broke investing in everyone else.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the type of stuff he does. Like,
yeah.
Dude, as soon as his episode dropped, he was like, he shared it. Everyone was sharing it. And like, he was sending people to come on the show. He's like, oh man, you got to come. I'm like, dude, I appreciate all. He's like sending me messages like, hey, I got this dude coming on. Hey, I mean, I want this dude to come on. I'm like, dude, I appreciate that. Like, he was so quick to like throw my name out there and push my stuff and push it. And like, dude, his episode had like over 200 plays the first day.
Yeah, I mean, like, we go hard.
Damn.
We go
grinding.
hard.
Grinding.
Andy, I think the thing about him is we've been at it for so long. I mean, we look like rookies still because, you know, it takes so long for your name to get out there. But we've been doing this for 10 plus years now. And nobody really helped us. Nobody really wanted to spread love like that or like put our name out there like that. So now that we're into a position where we can a little bit, I feel like that's the main thing that he wants to be on. I feel like it makes a lot of sense to me.
I feel in this industry, you can be at it for 10, 20 years and then one night it just hits. And then people are like, who's this overnight success?
Yeah,
but then you look back and you're like, dude, we've been doing this for 10, 20 years, you know? Like I was just looking at a post, like Mr. Beast, right? He's like one of the highest paid streamers or whatever.
One of the richest people in the world.
And not one of the richest people. He did not get any hits until over 400 videos. So I'm sitting there thinking like, I'm on episode, you're 76.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, 70s, like when's it gonna grab, right? When's it gonna grab? Dude, one day it can blow up overnight, but then this is the beauty of like what we're doing as creators and stuff. You should always invest and do your best, because if that day comes where you're blessed and you take off, people are going to look back at everything you've been doing and how you've approached it. And like, you want to have that foundation, you know,
exactly.
There are some of those guys and girls who, you know, put one song out and then it's like, boom, blows up and then you never hear them again.
For the most part, you don't hear them again.
But
unless you're a bad baby. She was Catch You Outside.
Or Glorilla, where'd she come from?
I feel like Glorilla been at it for a while.
Has she? I like heard one song and then I'm like, who's that? Now I hear all her music.
Glorilla. It's just the time for women rappers.
Yeah, they're taking off.
It's been like a couple years now that women rappers have been at the forefront of at least like alternative rap and stuff like Doechii and shit.
Yeah, where'd Lil Kim go? Shout out Lil Kim.
Lil Kim was bad. Lil Kim was bad.
How did moving around kind of shape like your childhood and outlook in life? Because I was one of those. I didn't move around states, but like I didn't live in the same project or housing plan for more than 2 years growing up. Dude, I was always bouncing around and moving and packing up and going. And like I feel like people like that kind of tend to live a different way than someone who's like lived in a house that their parents built, grew up in it. You know, it's like
I feel like it's strange how maybe it works in a way where I feel like I saw all different kinds of people so young, and every kind of person, good and bad, to where I was able to recognize, at least in my own mind, who I thought was genuine, or who I thought was trying to take advantage of me, because I saw so much of that. And then I started to, very early on, I started to recognize archetypes in people. So like Like I know you from somewhere because I met you before, just someone just like you, or at least it'd be in my mind. But like it would be like, it would prove itself to me. I just feel like I would just see archetypes of people. Like when you talk about NPCs or bots, like everybody just started being the same, like in a way.
You ever think about that? Like everyone's going through life differently, right?
Yeah.
Like driving here to the studio.
Yeah.
You see someone in traffic. Like that's the only time you'll probably ever see this person.
Maybe.
But like they're going through their own journey.
Yeah.
They're going through their own life. They're doing the same things we're doing in different ways.
Yeah.
But like it's easy to forget that everyone is kind of doing this thing at the same time. You know?
I feel like everybody's story is profound to somebody.
That's why I'll sit with anyone, man. I'll sit with anyone if they have good intention, right? Like I have a couple people come on there just like, I just want to push this brand or push this topic. I'm like, well, let's talk about you. I don't want to talk about me.
Yeah,
that's the whole premise of this podcast. But it's your story, bro. Through your story, all that other stuff's gonna come out.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone has a story to tell, man, and like, we as people kind of forget that, and it's easy to be nasty to people and kind of treat people certain ways because it's about me. This is about me.
Yeah, I don't think that. At least this is my thought on it. Is that I don't think I'm special. I think humans are special. I think that some of us are given gifts. I think like there's been thousands of people before me that's been given the same gift. Some people have made the best out of it. Some people haven't. Some people have failed. But we all get different things special about us. When I'm dead and gone, I don't want people to look back on me and say, oh, that was one special guy. I want them to look back at me and say, this is what we can do as humans. This guy here, for example, he was just very good at articulating human experience, human emotion, if that's what I get or whatever. But like I think everybody is special in their own way. I don't like to believe that, it's all me. You know what I mean?
No, that's a good point. Like we're all given gifts. It's a matter of do we tap into it and do the best with it, right?
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
Do you take advantage of what you've been given and push forward with it, or do you kind of let it go to the wayside?
Like I love sports. Like I always ran goofy. You know, I was fast, but like I ran funny. People made, you know what I mean? Like I wasn't.
The camel legs.
I had bad eyes, so like I wasn't like the best at it. But I loved sports, and I wish I was an athlete. You know, I wish I was like that upper echelon caliber athlete. But no matter how much I train, I probably won't be, right? But the same athletes, no matter how much they write, they probably won't be a writer comparable to, you know, I don't want to put myself in that box, but like your great writers, Bob Dylan, Johnny Cash, people like that who are just amazing songwriters. They were born to do that.
Yeah, it's different gifts.
People who are running backs in the NFL who can run fucking 4-second 40-yard dashes, they are born to do that. You know what I mean? That's how I feel.
Dude, someone just broke the record again. I just saw in the combine.
It's crazy.
Dude, it's like every year it's getting, like, people are getting faster, people are getting quicker.
Yeah. I wonder if it's something in the food, if it's all the GMOs in the food.
Yeah, it's the acai. So you kind of dealt with your form with me. You know, one thing, you know, I had addiction growing up in my family and surrounding me. Is that something you kind of dealt with and grew up with?
Yeah, for sure. My father, my biological father, I didn't really know him too much, but he dealt with that, you know, and that took a lot from me. Or like, I feel like everybody's addicted to something, you know.
There's different vices in the world, man. We often think of addiction as hard drugs, but alcohol, bad food.
We're all addicted to our phones now.
Yeah, dude, I just sat with someone yesterday and we were talking about how crazy it is. And one thing I have to do for myself is like, I'll have to put my phone down, like face down or away, because just seeing a notification pop off, something in our brains goes, oh, I have to check that.
Dopamine.
Yeah. It's like, what is that? Is that attention that I need? Like,
it's definitely a drug, dopamine. It's what oxytocin is released in your brain, you know, dopamine's released in your brain, like chemicals you smoke or whatever, certain chemicals are released in your brain. So it makes a perfect sense that a notification could dopamine spike you and you could become addicted to that. And then, you know what I mean? You become like this, sitting on your phone all day with a forward neck, and, you know, it's
Dude, when during COVID especially, man, like TikTok blew up. Dude, I would find myself hours burned. And I'm like, what am I doing? And I would acknowledge it the next day. I'd do the same thing.
COVID destroyed like a lot of humanity. No, I don't want to say that, but it changed us. Like we're not the same since then.
Oh,
like,
dude, people have changed. How we raise our children have changed.
Everything.
Like we're quick to throw them in front of a screen now instead of, hey, go outside and play, go outside and do this, go. Like I talk about this a lot. Growing up, dude, I was on bikes at the age of like 8 to 10. Yeah. I was like out by myself, going to the other side of the city on a bike. Like, yeah, I couldn't trust my daughter to go down the street to the store. Yeah, you know, like because everything's so different.
I don't know. Like it probably is different. I think either they make us scared to make us think that it's different, or it truly is different. But I think that if it is different, it's because of. Excuse me. I think the internet has normalized people being. I don't want to say
weird.
Yeah, weird. Like just like I mean, and also people fall down rabbit holes that aren't necessarily like no one would consider normal. And then, you know, if it 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, maybe 30 years ago, people didn't have access to information that was as corruptive. So it makes sense that the world is more scary now. I think I was on the tail end of that. Like my generation, I was like the last kids to actually like play outside, and then the next kids like born a couple years like before me, they were in the house on Xbox and shit.
Life has become so convenient, man. Like if you wanted entertainment, you had to go outside, find your friends, and throw a football. Yeah. Like now you just pick up this phone that has the whole world on it. Yeah. Videos, music, everything.
And it's so funny because we have everything. And most of the time, we spend all of our time trying to fucking find something to watch or something, because we have everything.
Yeah, sit on Netflix trying to find a movie. You spend more time looking for a movie than the movie length. When did you get into music? You said you've been doing this for a while. Like when did you get into music, and what was the thing that kind of drew you into getting into music?
I couldn't really tell you because I don't remember. But first time someone told me, recollected me wanting to be in music, I was probably like 3 or 4, and it just never went away since then. I just always knew that's what I was doing.
How do you use music? Do you use music like a lot of people find music healing properties? Is that something that you use when you're writing music, or is this something like you find enjoyment?
When I first started, yeah, it was like an outlet, and I feel like now it's sort of become a way for me to be an outlet for others, like for people to listen to me and relate, or, you know, it makes their day better or this or that, like me to like connect and relate with others. But when I first started, 100% it was just for me to see like a journal or a diary, you know what I mean? Almost like but I was rapping or writing songs or whatever.
What particular songs or artists kind of stick out to you and motivate you to keep doing this? Every artist has a favorite artist, they say.
One, if I had to pick one, I would say like Bob Dylan probably, or like maybe Jimi Hendrix.
Really?
Yeah, maybe, probably.
Wait, how does that fit into your genre? What genre would you say?
I rap.
You stick to?
I rap, but that's because I wish I could sing. Like, yeah. Like,
dude, if I could sing, I'd be annoying with it.
Yeah, I'd be always.
Singing. I would always be singing.
Yeah, but I rap for 2 reasons: because I love music, and it's because it's music, and 2, because I feel like hip hop, and I realized this at an early age. When you're rapping, you can express more in bars and stanzas or whatever. You can express more in your song than if you were singing, because you have longer verses. Longer, you know what I mean? It's just more able to actually tell the story more, you know what I mean? Like that's why I was drawn to hip hop, because of the writing aspect of it, the storytelling and the metaphors and the bars.
There's a lot, yeah. That's one of the things, especially like old hip hop and those classic hip hops. Like there's a lot of storytelling.
For sure.
Like you can sit there and listen to a song and hear a story, see it play out. Where I feel like a lot of music now, that's nice. A lot of music now, it's kind of just catchy and make you dance, which is cool too.
Which is cool. Everybody just wants to have fun. The world is so dark nowadays, so I understand. Nobody's trying to everybody's probably so introspective or so too busy thinking about how everything's so messed up. They don't want to turn on a song to go listen to give them more like sad vibes or whatever like that. Like sometimes, but like for the most part, the masses, they want to hear fun shit because we're in a dark time.
Dude, I'll throw on a song and I'm like bopping it. I'm like putting it right, and it's like a breakup song. I'm like, oh damn, I didn't even realize.
Or you even realize, because we're not
it.
even listening to the words really, vibrations or frequencies, but you're just nodding your head, and you can hear a song 10 times and you'll be singing words that you don't even know are the words. They're just the words you made up.
Yeah, especially kids, man. You see kids listening to music, you're like, why are you like singing that, and they don't even know what they're singing.
For my son, I only play like country music or like Otis Redding or like shit like that, like Motown and shit.
So where do you pull inspiration from? Because you're talking about like all these classic genres, these like, and then you rap. Like where do you pull when you're writing a song or you're sitting down for a project? Yeah. Like what's your process look like?
Depends on where I'm at with what project or like what I'm trying to do. Recently, my process has been just to have fun, just to like, let's have fun. Let's not make it too serious. But generally, my process would be lock myself in the studio for as long as possible and make as many songs as possible. And pretty much, I just like brain vomit. I like I tell everything that's on my mind, and I'll just fill up pages and pages, and I'll do like 70 songs, and I'll pick 10. Or 12 or so, and put them on a project or whatever.
How many songs do you have released? Do you like recently? I guess in the last year, how many projects have you released?
3 singles in the last year.
How's that process look? Because I got a lot of music friends, and they'll send me like their demos and stuff. I'm like, dude, drop it. And they're like, nah, it's not ready. And I'm like, dude, it's fucking dope. It's fire. Nah, it's not ready. I feel
like as an artist, you're always gonna like, if you were a painter and you had a painting and you were just one more brushstroke, one more stroke, one more brushstroke, one more, you're gonna fucking sit there all day and you're gonna mess it up, So like you do have a point. Sometimes you just gotta drop. I drop a lot of songs that are unmixed, or at least in the past, I have a whole album that I made, like that's the same process I was telling you. I recorded 70 songs. I moved to Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I was living on the floor in the studio, and I recorded 70 songs. One day I'm skating down the street. I think I'm on my way to go see like my little girlfriend at the time or something. I get a call from my producer. He's like, they're all gone. Hard drive crashed. Oh. So the only songs I had were the ones that he sent me on my phone, and I just put them on them. I dropped them, and that's still one of my most well-received projects. And none of it is mixed.
How do you deal with an obstacle like that, right? You just put everything into 70 songs. Yeah. Now it's gone.
You just keep going.
You don't try to remake them?
I feel like...
I can fuck with the honesty.
I feel like...
it's gone, right?
I feel like you can remake a song all you want, but I'm very big on the vibes from when you first wrote it, from when you first recorded it. It cannot be replicated. It's more, I can have the best song I ever recorded, take it to the best studio ever. Like I wrote it, I loved it. 3 weeks later, I take it to the studio. It's fucking, I'm in LA with the best studio. It's gonna, in my opinion, be a worse song from when I wrote it to when I had the energy there and I was harnessing it. I feel like songwriting to me isn't necessarily something that I do. It's something that like I just go into that zone or that flow state, and it just comes out. Like I'm religious, spiritual. I don't know if it's somebody who's just like, I'm like tapped into like Bluetooth, and they're just like, like this is what you're gonna write. But when I try to make something fire, when I try like this is gonna be the best song I ever made, it never is.
There's this book I read called "Don't Believe Everything You Think." Yeah. And it talks about that tapping into this unlimited intelligence. Yeah. And some equate it to, God, others equate it to the universe.
Something.
I think most people can agree there's a higher power that sometimes, like, and that's that flow state. And it's actually called the flow state. So we see it in jiu-jitsu. We see it in fighting. We see it in use of force encounters, right? People who train all the time, the defensive tactics. When something happens, they're not necessarily like thinking of it just kind of becomes a autonomous state. Yeah. You know, like, do you feel that happens with music as you're saying?
Oh yeah, for sure. 100%. And it doesn't feel like it's me. Like sometimes I'll write a song and I'll listen to it, and I'll be like, I don't even know how I wrote that.
Dude, that's so true. Because I'll like, even in these conversations, right? Like I'll get into this zone, right? And then I'm playing it back when I'm editing it. And I'm like, wow, man, that flowed so well. Like I couldn't do that on my, like, how did I do that? You know, like especially with Andy's episode, we're talking. He's like, dude, that was like, so I'm like, I was like listening to it back. I was like, wow, that was a pretty like, it flowed good. You know, the conversation was hot all the time. Like, I feel like the more you do something, the better you get at it, the more it just becomes like a natural thing.
I think that now this is, when it comes to podcasting, now this is just my theory. I feel like humans communicate in a couple ways. We either communicate through our logic, through our brain. So where we try and, those are mostly the people who like listen to talk. You know what I mean? Like they like, when you speak, they kind of listen to respond with logic. And then there's people who speak straight from their heart. So people who generally speak from their heart are listening to listen. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
So podcasting, when you talk and communicate through your heart, and then you're not trying to think so much, it's always like grade A. And I feel like Andy's really good at just communicating just heart to heart.
Dude, he was even just talking, like we'll be texting, sending like voice, and that's what I love about this. Like most people I've had on, dude, we still talk, we still connect, we like. They need something, like I'm there. If I need something, they're there. Like especially in the fight world, man. I've gotten in. Every gym has allowed me to come into their gym and train. They're like, oh, come in. Like it's created these relationships, this network, and it's just because I'm talking.
Yeah,
you know,
just being cool.
Yeah,
just hanging out,
just making connections.
Hell yeah.
When was do you remember your first song you ever like recorded in an actual studio?
The first song that I recorded in my own little setup, it was like a microphone like this, but it was a USB. It wasn't a Shure. I think it was like a Blue Yeti. And I took the couch pillows. I set it up on his tripod, and I took a couch pillow with a couch pillow with a couch pillow with a couch pillow, and I recorded a freestyle. It's probably like 14 or 13. It's on SoundCloud.
That's when that's the age I started making music, and I was in my mom's basement.
Yeah.
Dude, and I had the computer, I had everything, and then I had bought this. Dude, I remember it was like the most money I've ever spent on something. It was like $120. Yeah. And you connected it to your mic stand, and it was like a little U.
Yeah.
Dude, I was like, dude, I'm official now. You know, like I don't have a studio box, but I had this.
Yeah. In fact, and really, that's all you really need. Studios are they're not a scam. I don't want to say that, but I think that you can pay all you want for production-wise and engineering and whatever you want, but if you don't, a song with the better energy recorded on that little microphone with the better vibes and the better frequencies than rather recorded in the studio is going to be better always.
Yeah, I feel especially today with access to, you can buy your own music equipment now. Like back in the day, you had to go to a studio because you couldn't just access a microphone and acoustic panels and all this stuff. Now you can. And then not only that, YouTube or like online, you can like research, hey, how do I mix vocals? How do I, fatten up this? How do I harmonize this? How do I, like, you can kind of create your own stuff now in your own house. And I feel like a lot of artists, I was just watching a video where Justin Bieber rented like an Airbnb, and his whole team were in there, and they were filming in the middle of the living room.
Yeah, and they're
recording.
Yeah, and they just, it doesn't matter because they got really good engineers, so they can send that take in, and the engineer's gonna make it good.
But like, I feel like where's most of your music recorded in an actual studio? Or
most of my music from my career was recorded in my house. Most of my music recently, was recorded in the studio.
Which I feel like if you want to pierce to the next level, you need that
professional, commercial, marketable. I've always been like an underground kind of backpack rapper. Like I've always rapped about like wild ass, spiritual ass concepts, and like I've always rapped about like I have a song that's basically the sister song to my song with Fed to God. That's basically about the same thing, but it's in just such a much more poetic way. But the Fed to God one obviously is gonna get more attention because it's more marketable. But like where you talk about like the downtrodden, poverty, people like this, but like it's just about how you put it in, what box you put it in. I want to give the same sort of message, but now I gotta kind of put it in a little box with a pretty bow for people to, not be turned off by me like preaching to them, if that makes sense.
How does it feel with social media being such a big thing now? How does it feel when you put something out there? It's like you put everything in it. Like talking with you, I can tell like this is something you're passionate about.
Yeah.
And it doesn't receive the recognition.
Yeah.
Like, how do you deal with that? And like, what advice would you give people who are creative? They put their stuff out there, whether it's painting, social media, whatever, and it's not received very well. Like, what advice would you give people?
I would say that we live in a earworm age where most people's attention spans aren't very good. So you can create the most beautiful work of art, but most people that see it on social media are only going to listen for 10 seconds of it. They're not going to get the gist of what you're trying to say. I say keep creating, and if you have exceptional music and if you really love it and you're passionate about it, you will eventually push through the cracks. You'll get some, like, you don't have to be a millionaire. You don't have to be Drake in this game anymore. You can make $150,000 and nobody know who you are.
Change your life, yeah.
$150,000 a year, $200,000 a year, which is just like, a good salary in 2025. You know what I mean? Like, you can make the same shit as an engineer in music and nobody knows who you are. So, I mean, people get all caught up in this. I need to be the most famous person in the world, which I think it is a good goal, but you don't have to be Drake to make money out here.
What does success mean for you in this industry right now?
Success to me would be I want to be known as like a respected songwriter, respected like a Pharrell, like somebody who is known that they love this shit and they're good at what they do. They don't necessarily have to be, but like just success to me would be to just, I guess, the respect. I don't know. Like I said earlier, what I really want to do in this game is I'm in it for the long run, for like try to give something back to humanity. I don't know if that sounds kind of.
I'm all about the corny shit, bro.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. Like,
yeah.
I was thinking about it down here. I like first thing I like to do in the morning is kind of like reflect on, I pray. I'm like, hey, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? Right? Like, as soon as
what's the purpose?
Yeah. As soon as I wake up and I'm like, I'm doing this because I want to be rich or I want to be known. It's like, I'm probably not being my best self.
Yeah.
But it's like, what can I, like, even for this, I'm like, what do I want to do? What do I want to happen with this episode, this conversation?
Yeah.
Maybe, hopefully this influences someone who's wanted to start music to get into it.
Or just anybody who wants to make something more of their lives. I feel like me and you and every other influencer and any other podcaster, we're all the same. We all got to do the same thing. The only thing different is just like our trade. Like, we're all in the same fucking grind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's the vehicle and how we approach people.
We all need to be on social media. We all need to post content. I'm not going to sit out and act like I'm better than anybody because I rap. It's actually 2025 that if you're not good at it, well, I'm good at it, but I'm saying, like, most of the time if people don't know me and I tell them I'm rap, they're like,
oh, you rap. Yeah, it's like, it's kind of like looked down upon.
Or I make probably even like I have a podcast. A lot of times, the people will be like, not another one.
Yeah.
Because they judge you before they even know you. And that's just where we live at, 2025.
That's the times we're in, man.
People are like that. That's why people get canceled like in 10 seconds. Because we're like, this, that. We move so fast. Life moves so much faster than it did 10 years ago.
That's so true. We're trying to play catch up because we're looking at people who are doing this, who are further ahead than us, and we're disregarding where we're at.
Yeah.
And we make a lot of mistakes on the way because we're skipping over some things we shouldn't be skipping over.
Yeah, you never know who you're influencing.
Yeah.
I was influencing, I'm not going to say any names, but there are people who were influenced off of my old work that ended up having way more clout than I have right now. There are people who they took some like a base from like what I had, and they're like, well, I like this style or this and that, and then they kind of ran with it, and now they're like eating. That's just the way life works.
That's almost, that motivates me though.
Oh, it makes me know that I have the potential to do it, and I know for a fact it's not anything else holding me back but myself.
Yeah, especially like with podcasting, man. I've had a lot of people sit on here and they're like, "Hey, man, like I want to start a podcast." I'm like, well, "Do it, do it." And then I'm helping them how to do it, and then they start a podcast and they're getting crazy views and crazy guests, and I'm like,
"Good job,
that's awesome. Yeah. Like that's dope.
Yeah,
how can I do that?"
Yeah, it's got to motivate you, because if it's the other direction, then that's just gonna stagnate you. You're gonna believe that that. Oh, it's why them, not me type deal. But like, that's just life. Everybody's on their own course. People usually when it takes longer, that's when your longevity is longer as well. So if you do it for 15 years, you're going to have a longer career than someone who blew up in 6 months. Well,
you're solidifying yourself.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good...
Because people are going to think, oh, this fucking clown or this guy, whatever. They're going to know, oh, that's just him and he does that. That's like, it becomes, it's crazy because it becomes a part of your identity or your personality almost.
So speaking of identity, what is Adara47? How does that encapsulate the vision and the thing you're trying to push today? Like, how do those two connect? You kind of touched on what it means, but where do you see that brand, that moniker, you going?
Adara47, hopefully, is not going to be known as a rapper. Hopefully, some point in the near future, 10 years from now, I'll be making pop songs. Hopefully, I go down that Tyler, the Creator route, but it's not up to me what route I go on, really. I could be a martyr. Like, I don't know, but hopefully I'm charting, I like to make good music. I want to be able to sit there in the studio and I want to write, like, bring in some guys with some saxophones and some fucking strings and actually compose, not just sit there and rap. You know what I mean? Like, I love hip hop. That's what made me, but I love music as well. And I don't want to be boxed in or told what I am or who I am or how I can.
You ever heard of John Bellion?
Yeah.
Dude, I just saw a video. I don't even know where he's at with music anymore, but he's one of those people who kind of like hit it hard, did it great, created a name, and like now when he releases something as sporadic as it is, you're like, man, I gotta listen to that. And I saw kind of like his process. He'll sit there, and now he's writing his own keys. He's putting his own, the one video I saw, he had a room of people and he's telling them like what to play, how to play it. And then he literally created a song on the spot.
Yeah.
Then it's like that's once you've developed your craft so well.
That's my dream.
You get to do that.
That's my dream. My dream is to be able to play every instrument that, like I play guitar, I play piano, keyboard or whatever. But like my dream is to learn it all. If I had all the free time in the world or to create, I would like to be able to create. It's like, I think humans, that's one of the most beautiful things that we can do. I think when they say we were made in God's image, what God creates too.
He's a creator, yeah.
So like that's a beautiful thing that like we create, like we have children and we create that, but we also create these beautiful works of art or these massive buildings or just beautiful things that we overlook every day that, that's like what we're here for.
Yeah, we kind of take advantage of that now that I think about that. Like you go to, I was just talking about being in Houston. There's a specific area called the Woodlands. Man, I was walking there and you see these buildings and how the parks are developed and like these valleys and rivers. And I'm like, dude, like this was all like we made this as people. Like an engineer sat down and had a vision for this. The construction workers sat down and took that vision and kind of added their own thing. And then the planners and like all these people came together to make this road I'm walking on that I just completely disregard.
It's even like I've never been to Europe, but I'd like to go and see like the Colosseum and shit like that because those were compared to us, they were fucking. I don't want to call them idiots, but they were very they weren't where we're at. You know what I mean? Like technology wise.
Yeah, in the sense of development wise.
Exactly, but they were actually like the Romans were doing like. What was it that they're putting lime in their concrete so it would like repair itself and shit like that?
Look at the pyramids, bro. Like they didn't have backhoes and tractors.
They were just pulling.
Bro, and you see these pyramids, they're still here. They're still massive.
Yeah.
They're beautiful works of art. We still as humans go visit them.
we could get into that, but like we don't even really know who built them.
Yeah. I got my dude. All the theory. I'm one of those dudes, man. I'll go down a rabbit hole with like theories and stuff. You know, they say giants, they say aliens, they say
Book of Enoch.
angels. Yeah, they say all kinds of stuff. And it's like at the end of the day, you're looking at this and you're like, man, this was created. Like this is here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's hard to look at how beautiful everything is and not think that something created it. It's hard. It's like perfect. Everything is perfect. We got the perfect amount of gravity, the perfect amount of air. You know what I mean? It's like it's such a fragile ecosystem to where to think that this all just happened because, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, well, we as people, what do we need? Oxygen, right?
Yeah.
What do we breathe out? Carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
What do trees need?
Carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide. What do they
oxygen.
take out? Oxygen. Like everything kind of fits in its own.
I mean, if you get into like the quantum physics and the particles and like energy is such a crazy concept because the energy that's here and inside you and me has been here forever. Cannot be created nor destroyed. When we die, they put us in the ground or whatever happens. I think they should just put you in the ground with no coffin. Let the bugs have you. You know what I mean? That energy's gonna go somewhere else.
So let the bugs have you.
For real, fuck it, because that's the way it's supposed to be, right?
Well, there's this company that can put you in like into a tree, like you grow into a tree,
and then that energy you'll really be that tree in a big way.
You're breathing me in, bro.
It's ridiculous, but everything is so surface level because it's when you start to think about something too hard and you realize you have no idea what the fuck's going on, it starts to make you a little scared. And so we like to live in our little comfort zone, in our little bubble. And we like to just not think about certain stuff. Me, I've had my comfort zones, but my comfort zones, I've always been out of my bubble. So I'm used to being uncomfortable and sitting, talking and thinking about uncomfortable. You know what I mean?
I prefer it.
Yeah.
I prefer it, man. Like if I'm comfortable, I start to like, even with like something simple, right? Like I don't have many days off because the days off I overschedule and do crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Let's say I do have a day off. I'm sitting there.
I'm
like, dude, what? Like I'm being stale right now. I could be doing this. So like I'll try to schedule something, try to research something, try to look into something, how can I make the podcast better? How can I make my real estate company better? Like, I'm always like trying to push that needle forward. And then I sit back and I'll be like, man, I'm not as far ahead as I want to be. I'm not. Then we start to kind of spiral in that aspect. But if you sit and think about it, it's like, dude, 5 years ago, I'm doing 10 times the things I was doing 5 years ago. It's like, if it's not
happened yet, it'll never happen. That's so dangerous because that's basically where that goes. Oh, it might never happen for me. And then you start to quit.
Or you feel you've reached success. Oh, I made it. I'm here. Now what?
I think that's that'll be very hard for me to feel like I reached success because it's hard to define it. You know, success to me isn't necessarily the money. It'll help, you know, it'll be nice and you know, everybody loves money, but like I know that if I just had the money or if I did it for the money, then I would like be depressed.
Well, if you do it for the money, you'll never have enough. You'll never get there.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you can always earn. Like when people define success, he's a millionaire. Yeah. Well, there's billionaires in the world.
Yeah.
And then you're a billionaire. Well, there's trillionaires in the world. Yeah. And it's like you're always, if you're doing it for that, you're always chasing.
And it takes a couple generations to get to that level.
So you're always chasing that. But if you're doing it because you truly love it, dude, this is like, I have a passion for this. I love creating. You're always going to invest in that process of creation rather than just trying to get money.
Yeah. Edgar Allan Poe died poor. Edgar Allan Poe died a poor drunk. Probably, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he had like syphilis or something, like STD riddled, poor, in the gutter. But he's one of the best poets ever. Yeah, he's in our schools. He's in our books. He's in everything. We study him. Everybody knows him. But I mean, that's why I'm just going to have to continue on my journey and try not to expect too much, because once you start to expect, then you start to be disappointed. I mean, you can have your goals, but you're not going to, like, I believe that I have my purpose and I will serve my purpose, whether it be if I become like Drake, or or maybe not Drake, but if I become like to that caliber.
We know where he stands on that argument.
I'm Team Kendrick. Everybody knows that I'm Team Kendrick. But
like mentioning Drake a hell of a lot this episode.
I mean, when I think of pop stars, when I think of like the best, when it comes to like longevity and being at the top, Drake is probably one of the best to ever do it. I mean, I can't debate that, right? He's been at it since, 2008? It's 2025.
Was he on Degrassi?
He's on Degrassi.
He's been doing it for a while.
He dropped his first album in 2028 or 2008.
Yeah, that's a long time doing it.
Especially to be in the industry, in the music industry. He's like Michael Jackson almost. The fact that Kendrick fucking destroyed his career, allegedly, it's kind of crazy.
It's up for debate, yeah.
We're living in a weird time, bro.
But I like it, man, because at the end of the day, we can argue, he's better. But you sit back and you're not unbiased. You're like, dude, these are two dudes like killing it.
Of course,
they're doing it. Like,
yeah, Drake is one of the biggest stars we've had in my generation, probably your generation too. Like, you're just a little older than me, but I think I'm
whoa.
I'm saying it's like I'm trying to think of you would have to be a lot older to have seen people like Elvis or Michael Jackson even when his heyday, or stars like Madonna. You know what I mean? Our stars were mostly sports.
Yeah.
LeBron, Michael Jackson.
And LeBron's still fucking doing
Michael
it.
Jordan. Oh, LeBron, I don't know. That's so fishy to me. Something's fishy.
Yeah. But he's still playing. He's still...
Bronny's all right. I don't think Bronny's as bad as they try to make him out to be.
I think his dad did a lot of that for him.
Yeah.
Kind of gave Lil Bron a bad name.
Why? Because it's Bron?
Yeah. When you make it to a certain level, people either love you or they hate you. It's very rare that you find the people who are like, oh yeah, LeBron, whatever.
He's all right, yeah.
Yeah, he's all right. You either love the dude, he's the best thing that ever happened, or you're like, biggest flop, weak, you trash. There's always the extremes, man. And then now you got his son, his prodigy, the next generation.
Everybody's gonna hate.
You have the same thing. Love him or hate him, but you can't. It's hard to love him because he hasn't proven himself yet. So the haters are going to be quick to hate.
Yeah.
The lovers are going to be slow to love.
I think I saw they're always slow to love. You're right.
Yeah, everyone's slow to love.
I think I saw a video where I read something that the NBA is nepotism league now. A lot of the new guys coming in, their dads were in the league and stuff like that. He's not the only one. There's a lot of juniors.
It's become a business.
Everything.
How do we monetize this? How do we monetize? Let's put him in here.
Everything's been a business.
And I feel like it didn't. Not a lot of things start like music. I don't think it started that way.
I think it did.
You think it did?
I think it did. I think that that was the first thing people thought whenever they heard some guy singing a really pretty song or whatever. I think that at first they started with the jazz guys. They're like, wow, they play them saxophones really good. Them hit trumpets, good trumpets. Louis Armstrong and them. Let's record it and sell it. And then they're like, okay, but...
I mean more from the artist side.
Oh, no. The artist, no.
From the artist, they're like, you know what? I get to show a lot of people my work.
Yeah. But there was always somebody who's like, I'm going to commodify this as soon as it started. You know what I mean?
Dude, the music industry blows my mind. You create this song. It's your lyrics, your composition, your everything, and you don't own it. But someone else is...
They own it, yeah.
It's like...
You get pennies.
Dude, it blows my mind. Someone was telling me about... I'm cool with a lot of bigger artists. And they're like, yeah, dude, we have to tour because we have to pay back the label. So what do you mean pay back the label?
Get paid.
You're making millions.
Yeah, well, they give you your advance.
And then you got to pay it back.
Yeah.
I was like, hold on, what?
Yeah. It's like,
hey, I believe in what you're doing. Here's $1 million. You owe me $2,300,000.
Yeah.
You're like, hold on.
You take that $1 million and then you make that $1 million. It's basically like a front. It's like a flip. It's like if Scarface gave you a brick and was like,
yeah, but as long as they get their money, they're cool. Yeah. With the labels, it's like, oh, you paid it back? All right, now 5. And now you got to pay back 5.
Yeah.
And now it's 5.5. It's like you're playing.
You gotta have lawyers. Whenever you sign a deal, you gotta have lawyers. I mean, I've turned down a few, 2 or 3 record deals.
That's gotta be a tough.
Not crazy advances, but
still gotta be a tough decision. It's like, man, I can make money, right? Like we want to sustain ourselves and continue doing what we love.
Yeah.
You got to pay bills. Yeah. You got to eat. You got to live somewhere. So we fight with that every day. It's like even with the podcast, I got a lot of people want to sponsor it. I'm like, yeah, that's not I don't believe in what you're doing though. And they're like, oh, but here's we'll give you $10,000 for 6 months.
Exactly.
You know how hard it is to be like, Nah.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
I mean, it's you gotta be good at delayed gratification. You gotta know what your future looks like, and sometimes you miss your opportunities. I mean, there's been people who said, "Hey, I like your work. Let's fly you out to LA." I'm like, fuck that. Diddy shit. You know what I mean? Like it.
He's out of the picture now.
that actually makes me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of sitting back waiting for this to happen because being an artist, I've spoken to some people in the industry as well, and they say there's a lot of lies. You hear.
Oh,
but,
for sure.
But
man.
one thing and this was years ago. One thing that's not a lie is they will try and fuck you. Or sorry, I don't even cut. But they will try and get you.
Yeah, you can swear.
Yeah.
No, and literally or metaphorically.
Yeah, both. So it's like that. You gotta watch your P's and Q's, man. It's like you're not gonna go into like working for the mob and think you could just walk around and you know what I mean. It's like it's a sketchy
and walk out and be done once you've got what you want. And it's
exactly.
like, no, we got you
It's
now.
Not how it works.
You belong to us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I feel like if you're moving with good intention, you can be like, hey, that's not for me. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
not for me.
But when you're moving with good intention, and this could just be my observation, but when you're moving with that good intention, that makes them want to stop you more.
Oh yeah, because now you're creating a ripple in the plan, in the design. I just want to take a second to shout out a few companies who believed in me. These were one of our first official sponsors, so huge shout out. Today's episode is proudly sponsored by Carbo Jewelers, established in 1997 on the values of honesty and integrity. Whether you're searching for the perfect piece, need expert repair services, visit Carbo Jewelers in Newark's Ironbound District, where your jewelry is always in safe hands. This episode is also brought to you by Continental Jewelers, proudly serving Hudson County, New Jersey since 1964. Whether you're seeking a timeless piece or need expert repairs, they've got you covered. Visit Continental Jewelers, your trusted source for all things jewelry. You can find them on Instagram at Carbo Jewelers or online at carbojewelers.com. Lastly, big shout out to Carbo Trading. Besides coins, precious metals, and jewelry, if it could be traded and collected, he's probably got it. They can be found on Instagram at carbo.trading. You can find all of our sponsors out online on our sponsor page at therelentlessproject.com.
It's funny because a lot of industry or record labels, they're following indie ways of marketing and promoting now. A lot of those old ways of like making an artist blow up aren't working anymore. So they try and make these industry plants, which what people refer to them as, look as grassroots as possible. And it takes a lot longer now for them because they want them to look like they have nothing to do with the label that,
Dude, I was following a band, and because I don't know the real story, I'm not even going to mention the band. But it was a band I listened to all the time, and like one thing I was like, man, they bootlaced it. Yeah. Did it on their own. Boom, boom, boom. And they're making fire music, and then their music started to change. I'm like, I'm not really jiving with this, whatever. And then like a year later, they posted this big post like, hey, dude, like we're up in arms with our label. We're cutting ties with them. We're going to be doing our own thing. We're going to get back to what we're doing before. And I realized, I'm like, holy shit. Like they were with a label the whole time.
Yeah. And the label was probably like, listen, we want to sell more records, so
we need 5 songs. Then they're like, oh, we like, and that's what the one thing they were doing. They were like really investing in each song. And now it just became, how many songs can we pump out because what you're doing is good. Yeah. Well, what they're doing is investing all their time and resources into each song. Mm-hmm. Now you're asking them to dilute the process to pump out more music, and the songs changed. It's not connecting with people the same, and like, as an artist, you're like, dude, you're killing my process, my brand.
Or just, especially if you want to be that writer or that really profound sort of artist, it's damn near impossible to get attention because people are looking for that 10-second to 5-second
that hook
that just people can become a TikTok thing, and you can't how much can you put in that 10 seconds? You can't really. People don't even know half of these songs that are on their, playlists. They just know the hook because they add them straight from TikTok to Apple or whatever. You know what I mean? Or Spotify.
Yeah, and that's interesting because like TikTok was big on that.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of artists popped off on TikTok.
Oh, that's the only way to pop off.
And they're like, oh, you know, what do they post? The hook, right? Releasing next week, this hook. And you're like, man, that song's about to be fire.
Yeah.
Song comes out, the only part you enjoy is the hook.
Because it's an earworm. So here's the strange thing about music is you very rarely hear a song and love it right away. You hear a song and you might go, pretty good. But you'll hear it the next time and you'll go, wow, okay, I'm vibing. You'll hear it the third time and fourth time and fifth time. You love the song. By the third, fourth time you hear it, it's more in your head. It's like familiar to you. So like that Jello Ball song. I'm a swerve in that corner, whoa, whoa. You know what I mean? What I'm talking about?
I don't even think I heard that.
You don't know Jello Ball with one of the Ball brothers?
No.
Well, that Jello Ball song was everywhere for like weeks and weeks and weeks. Now it's a big song. It's not like it's a good song, but there's nothing that's like sticks out about it. It actually sounds like it's from 10 years ago or more.
And the cool thing about music is like the song you'll listen to in the car. It's not the song you're gonna listen to when you're with your homies.
Yeah.
It's not the song you're gonna listen to when you're at a bar.
Yeah.
It's not the song you're gonna listen to when you're at a club.
No.
You know, like the environment kind of shapes that. Because I'll listen to a song comes on, I skip it immediately.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I'll be out at an event or something and they're playing this song and I'm like, oh shit, this song's oh man, this song's not bad.
Yeah.
I'll play it in my car and I'm like, nah, this song's bad. But like it depends like what environment you're in too, that kind of shapes
your mood will dictate you know where you're at or whether you like it, or you can listen to it in a happy mood or a sad song, you're like, fuck this, I don't want to hear this, and then you listen to it when you're sad or whatever, and then it's all so many variables.
What are some of the challenges you have personally found in this journey you're on with music, and how have you like pushed past that?
Consistency because of turbulent like life, just like having turbulence in my life, being able to stay consistent, because like if I was like able to stay in one spot and like and not have to like maybe even in my adult years move around so much, and you know I lived in like Vegas and I lived in Philly and I lived in, you know, Kentucky, and you know, if I would have just stayed with the team, with like maybe like a team of 10 or whatever, I'd be much farther. But I've been like running and chasing and like looking for something. So like that's pretty much it. Just having turbulence and not being able to be as consistent as I should be. And financial, like this game takes money.
Yeah, I mean studio time can't be.
Yeah.
I mean back in the day I rented there's a studio out in Pittsburgh. I drove down to Pittsburgh and rented out, and dude, I remember I was like, I gotta save up for months for a couple hours.
Yeah.
And then you get there and you know your people are having conversations. You bring your friends. People want to drink, and you're like, dude, I'm paying for this. Like I gotta get in there and just get to work.
That's why it's good. The studio's only worth it if you book more than 6 hours, because you're gonna fucking be rushing those 2 hours or whatever to record as much as you need, and then it's all gonna come out rushed and bad. So if you have 6 to 8 hours where you can relax and chill and not feel pressured, then that's the only time where it's like worth it, to me at least.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. Like if you book an hour at a time, you're gonna be in the hole, in the deep, in the long.
You're
run.
gonna get in there. It's like here's the beat. Let's get in there right now, and then you're gonna just rush it, and you're gonna be like.
And then you have the engineer who's like, oh, let's redo this. You're like, no, let's just keep it. Let's go to the next one, and you kind of like dilute the process. What are some pivotal moments you found? Some moments that like reflecting back, you're like, man, that was a cool moment. That was a cool time. Like, you have any stories of that?
When I recorded the video with Terrence McKinney at the Southside Boxing Gym.
Oh.
Yeah, that was awesome. When I opened up for Coke Boys, French Montana and them when I was like 15, that was cool. When I opened up for Cassidy in Pittsburgh when I was like 16, that was pretty cool. I'd say probably the coolest moment was hanging out with T-Rex. One of them. Pittsburgh. I love Pittsburgh though.
Pittsburgh's it's an interesting city.
Yeah.
It's a big city, but not
I'm just happy
not too big.
I have that video in Pittsburgh too. And then it's funny because I ended up moving to Pittsburgh a couple years after that. Well, close to Pittsburgh.
How far are you from Pittsburgh?
From here, it was like 25 minutes.
Oh, so you can hit the road and
I'm not far.
Be in the Steel City.
Yeah.
Hey, that's dope. You got any projects coming up in Pittsburgh?
Man, I mean, everything I've been doing lately, been recording everything in Pittsburgh, every studio. I have probably, I'm gonna be dropping probably a song every month and a half, 2 months. I'm gonna stay dropping singles for this year. I'm gonna be performing in Pittsburgh. You know, I'm gonna be around here. I like it out here.
When's the show? I gotta come to a show.
I'm gonna have to let you know.
Dude, book a show, bro. That's how I show support.
Yeah.
Just go on a show. I love shows.
I
bro.
performed in Pittsburgh probably 2 or 3 times in my life. First time I opened up for Cassidy, it was somewhere in the north side, I think. Club Elegance, I think it was called, or something like that. I can't even remember. It was like 2015. And then I opened up for K Camp.
Okay.
At, what was it? What's it called? Foxtail? Avalon?
Oh, yeah.
It was Foxtail then.
So how does that impact your career? Like you're surrounding yourself with high ups in the industry. Like, does that propel you? Like, do you form relationships with that, or is that something that you're like,
for the most part,
you come do your thing?
For the most part, it just is like when you're young and you're ambitious and you look at people that are, you know, where you want to be, you look at them with this sort of like idolizing them, and being around these people make you realize that you're just like everybody else.
They say don't meet your idols.
Everybody, we're all humans, you know, like there are exceptional people in this world. Yes, there are people who are great at amazing things, but at the end of the day, we're all just humans, and being able to realize that is the first step into believing that you can achieve the same thing. Because when you believe that, oh, they're just better than me, or they're different than me, or they're lucky, or this or that,
you already create that distance. Yeah. You talk about Ohio Valley in your music a lot. I forget what song I was listening to coming down here, and you mentioned the Ohio Valley. Like how does being in this region, how does that shape your music or your song?
So being in this region, moving down here was like a huge culture shock. It was like I grew up in the city. I grew up near, you know, being able to go to a mall 5 minutes away. You know, it's just stuff like that where when you come to a place like the Ohio Valley, people are real close-knit. People, you got to like almost prove yourself. Like it's almost as rough as living in the city because you have to do the same. Like you have to kind of prove yourself to people around you to get respect. So it's like, oh, okay, so I had to come down here and kind of get the respect from those people. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because you're going into it's like everything's territorial. I feel
and I'm dressing different than them. It's like 2013 or so. I got these like Timberland boots and these snapbacks, and I'm dressing like kids did where I just came from. Everybody there, they got their Walmart cowboy boots and their, you know what I mean? Just like shit, like it was just so different. So it opened up my eyes to different experiences and making me realize that we're not all different because we're all dealing with the same things. There's people in Detroit and the people in Ohio Valley are dealing with the same things, whether it be maybe less violence in certain places in Ohio Valley, but like, you know, drugs and poverty and all of this, you know, it's almost like everywhere you go is almost the same, just the scenery changes. We try and act like, you know, Detroit is so much different than Ohio Valley. It's really not.
Everyone's trying to find their place, I feel like. And in doing that, we can either go about it the right way or the wrong way.
Yeah.
And like the wrong way, we see a lot of the same issues and patterns happen. Like I grew up in Erie.
Yeah.
And then I'll go to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And like connect with people immediately because we grew up similarly. But like obviously Brooklyn is a different world than Erie, which is a different world than the streets in Compton. But like, if you look back, and we're all dealing with the same shit: addiction, violence, poverty, like you said.
Exactly.
Like everyone's trying to figure it out too. And like
I've never been to like a rich place or like lived in the way that, you know, super rich people live. So I can only speak on the experiences of the poor. And anywhere you go in the world, poor people are the same, pretty much.
Never go to where rich people are the same. I feel like
pretty much.
Like, for the most part, like.
I mean, they have certain ways about them. I'm pretty sure, like I've heard, like you know, like the super rich people have like a certain way that they laugh. Pretty much, yeah.
It's like, I need you to know I'm laughing.
Yeah. It's like, it's just certain
I
things.
just stereotyped. I'm sorry, but it's true.
I mean, I got really into watches just to be able to tell. I mean, it sounds kind of, but like I like to know, like if someone walks up to me with a Rolex Submariner, and like I can spark up a conversation with this guy because he has a Rolex on, he's gonna appreciate that I know about watches, even though I could never fucking afford that watch. There's just certain things that, you know, rich people like. And
dude, my buddy has a jewelry store in Jersey. He sponsors the pod. It's one of the only sponsors I have. Carbo Jewelers, shout out my homie Nico. That's where I get all my shit from. But I get everything from him, right? But like my chains are a couple $100 to $1,000. You know, a couple tennis bracelets, rings, watch. My watches are $400, $500, which to me, I could never afford that back in the day. So for me, I'm like, fuck yeah. And then he'll be a little fucking asshole and he'll be like, hey, bro, I got this date.
Yeah.
Like $20,000. What? Come on, dude. Like,
for real.
No.
And people, and they're so like, it's not like a lot of them are flashy either. They just like a Seiko. You can get a Seiko that looks just like it.
Yeah. And I'm like, dude, I don't care how, and this is just because this is how I grew up, you know, humble beginnings. I don't care how much money I make. I could never fathom spending $50,000 for something I hate having on my wrist.
Exactly.
Like, I hate wearing watches and jewelry. I like necklaces. I like to feel alive. Maybe it's the choking thing. I don't know. But like, dude, I hate having watches on. I have this on because I'm always looking at it, referencing it.
Yeah.
I got alt meter on this. I have a stopwatch. I got all kinds of shit
Rolex
on this.
don't have that.
400. Yeah, the Rolex don't have that.
Yeah.
You know, this, I hit it. You know, I'm like, cool, whatever. I'm in the beach with it. I'm in the pools with it.
That's fine.
I was fine. If I got a $50,000 watch on, I'm walking around like this, just like, don't hit this, don't touch it. Like, this is a $50,000. We were in Miami, and we were at a jewelry show. He was like, hey man, wear this to go out. I'm like, dude, there's no way.
Yeah.
Dude, the ring was $70,000. The watch was $50,000. I'm like, dude, my house, I'm wearing on one hand.
On one hand.
I'm not wearing this. If I lose it, dude, he's like, oh, no, wear it.
It makes you nervous too.
Yeah, dude, I didn't wear it. I left it.
Yeah, you go to Miami a lot?
A couple times a year.
I love Miami.
Dude, because you appreciate the culture, man.
Well,
like,
I mean, I lived there too for a little bit.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Like, I love going there, and like, you see the yachts and like the people going out and the cars, and it kind of like, it motivates me to be like, man, like,
and everybody
I can
speaking
get it.
Spanish.
Yeah, dude, that's my favorite, bro. It's people don't realize this, but like, my name is Ismael. Ismael.
Yeah.
I don't hear that unless I go home.
Ismael.
My mom's the only one who says that. It's Ishmael.
Yeah.
You know, I'll order an Uber.
Uh-huh.
You know, I'll go in, get the car, like, by mine. I'm like,
by
yo,
mine. You know?
I'm like, yo, you said my name, yo. I get in the car, dude. I just start talking Spanish. I forget English.
It's cool because like when I moved over here, they got lots of Dominicans and Puerto Ricans and stuff, like I don't know, Venezuelans too, like up towards me. I didn't really realize that, but like I was door dashing. I was driving DoorDash one day, and it was like I was just doing it because I never did it, and I was dropping one off, and then there was a guy in a DoorDasher dropping one off right next to me at the next house. So I'm thinking maybe I'm like at the wrong house because that's like a weird coincidence. So I go up to the dude and I'm trying to talk to him. He looks like a little white guy. So I talk to him. He's just looking at me. And I'm like, hey, ¿tú hablas español? He's like, sí, claro.
Yeah,
and I was just like, all right, bet.
Dude, but I think a lot of people won't understand that, dude. But when you're in Miami and you walk into a restaurant and they start talking to you in Spanish first, I'm like, oh fuck yeah, like that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I start talking in Spanish, forget.
They
like,
hardly do that to me though.
Yeah, well,
I most of the time people don't.
I didn't even know you
realize.
spoke Spanish, but like also, I don't look Puerto Rican.
You look probably Italian or something.
I get that a lot.
Yeah,
They'd be like, oh, you're so and so. No, I don't know who that is.
Nah.
You Italian? Not Italian.
No. What are you, Greek?
Yeah, not Greek either. Wish, but no, I'm Puerto Rican.
I like going to the Latin barbershops and just staying quiet and letting them talk, just listening. And then I'd be like, hey, ¿qué tú dices, bro? Like, just like.
Yeah, don't like español. Yeah, why are you talking shit, bro? Talking about this gringo over here. I ain't no gringo, bro.
I do that shit a lot, I ain't gonna lie.
Dude,
I pretend I don't speak Spanish a lot.
Oh, bro, it's a flex, man. Like if you don't want to get into a conversation in English, I don't speak English. Bobby.
No English.
No English.
No English.
They're like, oh, okay.
Tiene que hablar conmigo en español,
Yeah.
solamente español aquí en
They're
esa
like,
casa.
They're like, they ignore you, right? Or you don't want to get into a conversation in Spanish. No hablo español.
Yeah, I speak Hebrew too, so I can do that too.
That's cool.
Yeah,
See?
yeah.
J'ai pas un peu de français.
Oui, 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 oui.
Yeah, oui. J'ai pas français un peu.
Ça va.
Yeah, dude, I was doing Duolingo. I took it in high school. I was like, dude, it'd be cool to it'd be cool to learn like another language. And it follows a similar structure and stuff to Spanish. I was like, oh, I'll pick this up quick. So I started doing Duolingo, and I actually got all right at it.
I tell you what, Spanish, Italian, so close, bro. French, I don't know. If I read it, if I look at the picture,
it's similar to.
I can read it, but when I hear them talking, I don't know what the fuck.
Like what's sugar in Italian?
Probably azúcar.
Suca or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
In Spanish, azúcar.
Azúcar. Yeah.
So it's like you can get away with it.
Celia Cruz in this bitch.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Let's talk about Gutter Valley real quick. I was listening to Coming Down, and it kind of like fits the premise of like Relentless, right? Because like in that song, you're talking about overcoming adversity, resilience. Like what's the theme for the people who listen to this? Like I'm one of those dudes. Like I listen to a song and I like the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
I watch a movie, I like the behind the scenes stuff. Like I'm at a boxing event, I'm like, man, what was the logistics to make this happen? Like the sponsorships. Like I like to know how things come together.
So.
Like, how did Gutter Valley come to be?
I'll tell you the whole story of Gutter Valley right now. So I moved back to this area from Detroit about 6 months ago or so. And I'm just trying to get back in the studio, trying to work. And I go over to AAG's house. And he's like, I got this beat for you. And I'm like, okay, let's hear it. So we're in the car. I think we were drinking some beers or something. And he plays the beat, and I just start freestyling. And I'm freestyling, and he's throwing out words, and I'm just freestyling with the words that he's throwing out. And as he's like throwing out words, I kind of sneaky, I don't know if he saw me or not, but I like set my phone up to record. And we just recorded that, like us freestyling that. And then first thing we did was we freestyled that hook. So I think like the whole premise of the song was to create something that people from our area would relate to, especially, but just like you said, that relentlessness, that drive, that not stopping and stuff. So we're freestyling with that in mind, and we kind of have a rough draft. And so a couple days later, Andy calls me up. He's like, man, this shit's fire. We need to record it at our boy's studio, because our boy has a studio, for like a reference. So I show up, we record it. I hate the song, dude. I hate it. Everybody likes it. I hate it. This is just the reference track, though. I'm like, there's just something about it I don't like. And so we go in a couple days later with the reference track, and we go record at Chalfont Sounds down there. Well, I don't even know what part of Pittsburgh that is.
Down the way. I just said down the way.
And I record it. Fed's there. We're having a good time. It was a cool vibe. But I still didn't. I liked the Fed's part, but I still didn't like my part. Like, there's just fucking something about this. But I'm like saying, like, fuck it, whatever. Like, I was kind of in that. It was kind of different than what I used to make or what I usually make. So that's what I was thinking. Like, it's just a little uncomfortable, right? And I'm in that pocket that I don't normally rap in. And I'm like, I still not fucking with the song. I'm like in Fed's verse. Then Timmy sends me back the mix, and I'm like, okay, this shit is hard. I finally understand why people like this song. And it all just stemmed from that little bit, us drinking, me and AG drinking, and he's like, we need to make a song on a Pittsburgh beat, because you're back, And that's basically what it was, and we got Fed on it, which is like the rapper you probably want to get on that kind of song.
Yeah, I was listening to a couple of his stuff, too.
Yeah, he's, I mean, when it comes to Pittsburgh, like, or just like to represent the area, to represent kind of like the vibe that we're going for, he was the perfect pick.
What was it from the reference track to the mix that kind of did it for you?
When I wrote it, or when I had an idea in my head where it was more melodic, like I was more singing. It wasn't more like rapping as much. And like whenever I got into the studio and put them headphones on, something about that microphone Like, it just threw me off. I don't know if it's whether the presets or something he had on it or something, or he had auto-tune on it or something. So, like, I was singing and I wasn't hitting the right notes that I wanted to hit initially. So, like, I was going to go back and fix it with the with some, like, layers or something. And the layers ended up not sounding good or whatever. I'm just very, very critical. Everything I make, I'm very critical. And it, like we talked about earlier, has to have, like, serve its purpose. It has to, like, it can't just be some bullshit that I put out there. Even though it might seem like bullshit, like, it might seem like there's no thought behind it. There's generally thought behind everything, pretty much everything I drop or do. But, yeah, man, besides that was I would say I probably wrote that song in about 20 minutes. Gutter Valley. And Fed wrote his part in even less.
See, that blows my mind, dude. Like, you can have a project that takes you, like, I listened to this, I guess it's like Cali pop, I guess.
Yeah.
Band called The Strike.
Mm-hmm.
And they perform down here, and I they like to talk to the audience and stuff. They're like, we recorded this song during COVID. Mm-hmm. And this song took us months, to the point where we hated even playing it back.
Yeah. And
we weren't going to release it. You know, our team said, hey, just release it because we need something out. Uh-huh. The song took off.
Yeah.
Took off. And he's like, in the song that we loved, that we put everything in, we're like, this is the one that's going to be big. Didn't. Yeah. You know, and it's like, sometimes
that's how it works.
You have to, like, just trust the process and what you're doing. And hope that it connects with the people you're trying to connect it with. Because your music isn't going to be for everybody.
No, never.
This podcast isn't going to be for everybody. No. But those that for who it's for, it has to serve its purpose.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm trying to get real. Like, as an artist right now, I fucking hate having to do the business side. Marketing, and promo, stuff like that. I just want to be able to sit back and create. But, like, in today's day and age, that's not a thing anymore.
That's why you got AG, right? You better be taking hold of that.
Yeah, facts.
Or I gotta step in.
But when we're talking about the marketing side and stuff like that, that's such a critical thing in any artist, anything you do. Branding. Your brand has to be recognizable. Your branding has to be unique. You know what I mean? It's
consistent.
It's not just music anymore. It's more like a fashion show popularity contest when it comes to not just music industry, everything.
Well, everything, I think it's become not so much what you do, but who's doing it.
Yeah.
You know, like like people don't listen to podcasts because of the substance and the message. It's like, who's the person behind the mic?
Yeah.
You know, like
I listen to fucking history, like Roman Empire podcast. Though.
Really?
I'm different, yeah.
So you listen for the substance, which stuff like that is very informative.
Yeah, I love to learn.
But like the talk show podcast, they just sit there and just talk.
Those are funny too. Like whenever, like
for sure.
I like Joe Rogan because he'll have his like academics, his scholars on, and then next week he'll have fucking the most goofy comedian, you know. And
which is why I love his platform, right? Like he gets a lot of shit, but like he will sit down and talk with everybody. Like not to get into politics. He did not like Trump, sat with Trump.
Yeah. He
offered it to Kamala.
Yeah.
Offered it to like everybody. Like he's like, hey, if you want to talk, let's sit down and talk.
Because it's crazy to think that because Joe Rogan, people who know, people who don't want to be ignorant or whatever, want to learn about the man himself, no, he's not malicious. No, he's just a genuine guy who just wants to have conversations.
Yeah, open conversation.
People trust him way more than they trust CNN or Fox News, and people rather put their trust into Joe Rogan.
But he's also one of those dudes who, you know, he trains MMA, so when he's talking with someone in MMA, you're like, all right, man, he's got the backing.
He knows what he's talking about.
He studies his stuff. Like he doesn't just sit down and just listen and talk. He like researches the person, has teams that give him all this information. He sits down, he goes through it so that when he's having a conversation, it's able to be a lucrative conversation. He's not just like...
And you can tell he loves to learn.
Oh, yeah.
Like so deep into his 50s or whatever. Bro's almost 60, but he's still constantly learning something new. And I mean, that's kind of rare for people at that age because a lot of the times people at that age think they know everything anyway.
Yeah, yeah. It's like been there, done that, got the t-shirt kind of thing.
But it's cool. Maybe it's all the ayahuasca and DMT and shit.
But that's what like social media has become. It's like, oh, this song's cool, but who's the person behind it?
Yeah.
You know, so we start to follow their personal lives and what they do and how they do it and not, you know, and like People don't watch music videos anymore. They want the video of him in the studio working on the song. They want to see like which music videos have turned into now. Like now it's not a production story telling the story. It's the process of creating the song. Yeah. You know, like I'll listen to a song and I'll have like the music video in my head. Mm-hmm. Like one thing I've always wanted to do, and I probably won't ever do, but like I always thought it'd be cool, is like to remake music videos of songs I like into how I envision
how you'd want it to be.
Yeah, how I'd want it to be.
Wow, that's a good idea.
Dude, it's a cool idea. Yeah. You know, but like that requires a lot of bandwidth that I just don't have right now. So like when I see the music video come out, it has nothing to do with like the story of the song, the message of the song. It's like the process of writing it. It's them flashing their cars and jewelry. And I'm like, dude, you missed like a huge opportunity to like tell the story of your song, right? Because what's a music video? Yeah, visual representation of your song.
Yeah, I think that I'm so into different creative outlets that I think that I can never squander those opportunities to do like a visual. Like I'm very into cinematography. Well, more so just into movies. I love movies. Like I like older movies even more because they're forced to have to be great writers because they don't have special effects and shit. You know what I mean? Like I just love like well written, well thought out.
Especially indie movies. Yeah. Right? You don't have the budget. Yeah. You don't have the budget. You have the story and the acting and the process. You don't have the CGI to make this car explode. Cool. Yeah.
Just because like movies like Airplane. You ever seen Airplane?
I can't say
it's like it's like a comedy from like 1970 or whatever.
Oh, definitely didn't see it.
Oh wait, what was I watching last night? Truman Show. You ever seen the Truman Show?
I've seen it. I haven't watched it.
Bro, shit like that, bro. Just like mind.
I'll have to watch it now.
Truman Show, bro. Jim Carrey.
I haven't. I don't think I've sat down and watched it completely.
I'm not even gonna tell you anything about it. You're gonna have to go watch it, bro.
That's gonna be my goal now. I'm gonna watch the Truman Show.
Bro, I love just movies, fashion, just anything that's like a creative outlet to where like it's not all just music for me.
Do you pull from these other industries and other interests and hobbies? Like, you say you love history and stuff. Like, what other things do you pull? Because I think that's the coolest part when like you sit with an artist and you're like, all they do is write music, and they have this like you mentioned quantum physics. Yeah, like having an interest in quantum physics. How can we apply quantum physics into a song? That's where it becomes creative.
It generally makes for good like hooks and metaphors and shit, but they usually go over people's heads. I wrote a song. I recorded it the other few months ago. It probably won't release for a long time because it's more of like sounds like a singing, like an indie kind of like
drop it.
It's guitar. Drop it. You know what I mean? But it's about Helena of Troy. Yeah, like the Greek goddess. But like you can't really tell that it's about that. You know, talking about like just how beautiful. You know what I mean? But it's like nobody really can tell that's what it's about. But like I wrote about like historical figures and shit like that.
See, but that's where it's cool. Like that's where I'll listen to a song and like that's probably one of those songs where initially you won't be like, oh, this song's fire, Billboard. But like the more you listen to it, the more you start to catch on and you're like, holy shit, the thought process that went into creating the song. Yeah. Then you start to appreciate it more and then it becomes a good song.
Yeah. My whole last album was almost like it's not like a gospel album, but it kind of is. It's like it's more so like a spiritual album. It's called It's Okay, I'll Do It Again. And the whole premise of all the songs is like me talking to God, God talking to me, just the God talking through me. On first listen, you wouldn't think that it was a gospel album or anything like that. But if like you were in the know or like understanding that that's where I was going with it when you first started listening, then you might, understand that. But my latest music has been the less, I'd say, poetic that I've been in a long time, and that's more so because that shit don't really sell as much.
What's and hey, like I said, we all got bills to pay. Yeah. And you love what you're doing, so success is getting paid to do what you love to do.
Well, I mean, if like you look at artists like Pittsburgh, Mac Miller. Like when Mac Miller started, he wasn't singing the stuff that he was at the end. Yeah. He was making happy frat boy raps. I feel like we all got to get our licks in. We all got to
pay your dues.
Exactly. Yeah.
What do you got coming out? You got a new project coming out, right? You've been working on something?
Yeah. I got a single coming out. You dropped the single, okay, Activate, out on all platforms now. And then I got a video coming out here soon.
I got sent to AG sent me the video.
Yeah,
you cool if we play it?
Yeah.
Let people get a little
Yeah. I like this video. We could do like a little breakdown.
This is the first time I've done this, folks, so bear with me here. They're about to see all my dirty laundry.
The path to success is relentless.
Yeah, you already know, bro.
See, that's that slogan right there. Like, it's like almost like always grinding. It's almost like the whole message that we're trying to portray is like relentless, like never stopping.
That's crazy that you're on the Relentless Project.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah.
So, but like that's the whole. Like that's the more the older I've gotten, the more mature I've gotten, the more honed in I've gotten. I've realized like it's a hard process, but it's simple.
Yeah.
Right. Like just remain relentless in what you want to do. If you remain relentless in your pursuit of your goals, you're bound to find success. It's inevitable.
Yeah, whatever that means.
Yeah, because like with artists, man, especially, how many artists have we seen grinding, and they quit?
Yeah.
And then, like, was it the next song? Was it the song after that? Or worse, they pass away, and then boom, their music takes off, and you're like, well, man, if they would have just kept pushing.
And then you got artists like Prof. I don't know if you know who Prof is, but he's like in 2008, he was like one of the like backpack rappers, like lyrical, spiritual. Like he was really good, but like he kind of fell off for a long time. Now he's blowing the fuck up.
You know who Flawless is?
Yeah.
Dude, his shit is crazy.
Yeah.
Like the way his lyrics and like what he talks about, and dude, he's nasty. He's another New York rapper, but like he's not really big Billboard main, but like you listen to him, you're like, dude's fire. He's good.
Yeah, you been to New York?
I go to New York a lot, bro.
You got family out there? Right?
Nah, my homie lives in Jersey, so he lives in Brooklyn. Just moved to Jersey. Yeah, Shout out Nico.
I love Brooklyn, bro.
Dude. Well, we go to Brooklyn. Manhattan's my spot. Like been to the Bronx a couple of times, but it's normally I bounce between Manhattan and Brooklyn.
Yeah,
you got to go to Manhattan. You got to see all the nice stuff.
All
like,
the pretty lights.
I like Brooklyn because that's like the people I connect with. You know what I mean? Like
it's more home.
The bodegas, everything. You walk into a store, everybody's talking shit. And, you know, you don't even know who they are, and they're people treating you like family and shit.
And everybody's funny. Like you're like, and they'll stop you in the street. They'll be like, "Hey, I thought you was my bro." Or
I'm your bro. I am your bro now.
It's just funny shit. Yeah.
So Activate. When did that release?
The 22nd of February. Videos.
Well, let's see if we can get this.
Wepa.
They're experiencing some technical difficulty. There we go.
It's too fire.
Where was this shot at? We're gonna be pausing and playing. Yeah. We're gonna break it down.
So this was actually shot at Passage Studios, south side of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
This model here. This is Savannah. She's a really good model out of Pittsburgh.
Shout out Savannah.
Yeah. This is actually all the same studio booth, like the.
You shot like a square?
Yeah. It was like a. That jacket is actually from the 1989 USA Olympics track team.
That looks dope.
Think I need to raise. It's one of like 90. Big stepper.
Got the Cuban on. You gotta have a Cuban on.
Cubano. Habichuela.
Manteca.
Manteca. In the streets, they like a lowercase, a big stepper. To the money, I know way.
If I get flagged for this on YouTube, I'm fucking suing YouTube.
No, you'll be all right. Activate. Huh. That's me, YouTube. I'm giving him permission.
Yeah, see? Permission.
Yeah.
And I got his manager's permission.
And his hat right here. How
long did this take to film?
Maybe an hour and a half.
Really?
Yeah, Ebac who filmed it. Ebac films this. Dude works good, fast. He's a really good videographer.
So how does that work? Like, do you just shoot like completely nonstop and then he cuts it, or like do you do takes?
It'll be like this. It'll be like I'll show up, put my bag down or whatever that I got going on, and I'll be like, all right, let's get I'll tell him about whatever idea I have. Like, yeah, I was thinking we could get something like this or whatever. He'd be like, okay. And then we'll film our first take. And then we'll be like, okay, that was a good take. Then we'll film our second take. We'll be like, all right, let's get her in there. We'll film that take. And then he'll go and just edit it all up.
Splice it all. That's dope.
A lot of the times, a lot of shots in the videos that I want in the videos don't end up in the videos. It's just how it goes.
Yeah, it'd be like that. So you'll take like multiple shots of the same thing, and then whichever one works out.
And that video, I really enjoyed the process of filming that video. It was fun. It was a good time.
I feel like that's the cool thing about being in like this industry. Like the cool stuff you get to do, the people you get to meet. Like,
it's fun.
How many people get to just perform? Yeah.
The performing is the reason why I do this shit. It's like the best. It's my favorite thing. Entertaining. Like I love performing, man. I always get goosebumps, and I still get stage fright no matter what.
Dude, I remember when I was making I'm not even gonna say the name because I don't want people to look it up. But when I was making music, there was this girl who was having a quinceañero, and she's like, "I want you guys to perform." I'm like, I do this in my basement.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I got in front of everyone, bro. I was so shook.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm like sitting there. I'm like, I felt like I was shaking inside. Everyone's like, "Oh, it was so good," but like,
yeah.
And then they just started playing the backtrack, and then like,
what kind of music did you do?
Like pop, rap. Like I'll show you, but I ain't gonna show nobody else because I don't want nobody.
You should do some like
dude. Like, I did some reggaeton-ish, some what was the dile que baile que no pare de bailar. Dude,
that's
I
had
dude, it was fun, man, and like that's part of like I think that's why I like doing this stuff a lot because I like making things come to life. Like like even with these podcast episodes, like when I'm editing and I'm doing that, like it's fun to me. I enjoy it, man. Like the talking is awesome. I love that. But the editing as well, the creating, like I create all my graphics. I edit my videos. I created my logo. I like everything about the podcast has been me, my touch, so when people talk about it, I'm like, dude, like that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Because like my passion went into this and you're appreciating it.
I just realized you got the lightning bolt in there too.
He did. Yeah, he noticed that too. So I didn't even realize that coming in.
That's crazy.
I want it to be impactful. He's like, yeah, exactly. Like, but yeah,
your life can change in an instant.
Dude, it can
spark like a light. Like
good or
bolt.
bad. That's the beauty, man. We're gambling with life, and anything can happen.
It's crazy how much you can change your life right now. Anybody listening to this, like, I know for a fact tomorrow, if you don't like your life, tomorrow you could change it. It's I've done it. I mean, it hasn't been like the best processes. Like I moved to Vegas when I was 19 with like $500, but I'm like, I'm gonna go make this shit work. You know what I mean? And because I didn't like my situation, the next day I did something about it. You know, it's like crazy.
Well, it's like, and that's why like I resonate with a lot of these like underdog stories because when you have everything, it's hard to make that change that you want. Like a lot of people have the big salary and they show up to the office, but they're not happy. They're not fulfilled. They're not doing what they feel they should be doing. And it's hard, and you hear it all the time. It's like, man, I can't afford the pay cut. I can't, I got a family to support, all valid. But when you have nothing to lose, when you're like, from the slumps, like I grew up with nothing, bro. Like I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. Yeah. So it was like I can remain here, or I can change something, and change my outcome. Exactly. I don't have anything to lose. I don't have anything.
Exactly.
So when you move to a place like The Rock, everyone talks about. He came here with. He talks about $21 to become a pro wrestler. You have nothing to lose. If you fail, you're where you're at. Nothing changes. But if you succeed, your life completely different.
Because then now you have shit to lose. And I think that the best place to operate when you're trying to be successful is in the fight or flight. If you're constantly in your fight or flight, I was in my fight or flight for probably like, I don't even know how many years straight, man. 10 years straight.
I feel like my whole life been fight or flight, man.
Just recently, I feel like I stopped being in my fight or flight, and I hate it because it's like I don't want to feel like comfortable. I don't like being hungry, but when I'm hungry, like you physically hungry, you figure that shit out and you survive. You know, if you're a survivor,
everything tastes better too. Like when you're starving,
oh yeah,
whatever you eat, bro, you're like, this is the best thing ever,
bro. I was sleeping on the floor of the studio, on the couch too, and the label that I was working with would give me like a allowance for like $40 a day or something, and I would eat only big ass bags of trail mix and Red Bull, and like I'd eat McDonald's sometimes, and I was never hungry. You know what I mean? I was creating like, it's like, and when you're in your worst places, or your quote unquote worst places, that's when the best things happen to you. It's
because you appreciate everything more, right? Like that trail mix.
Exactly.
Is amazing.
Exactly.
That Red Bull is amazing.
Shit ever, bro. All I needed was an eighth, my trail mix and my Red Bull, and I was. That's all I needed to survive.
It goes to show you like about life, right? Because then we get comfortable.
Yeah.
And we know that trail mix don't taste the same.
Nah.
That Red Bull's like, I don't want trail mix. I want a steak.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't get your steak, and now you're upset you didn't get your steak.
Yeah.
You start to create a lot of issues for yourself.
Your own problems.
In the reality, they're not. In the grand scheme of things, there's people fighting for a meal every couple days.
Yeah.
You know? And we're eating every day, but we don't like what we're eating, so we're upset.
I remember when I know you probably have a similar backstory because you're Hispanic, but we rice and beans for fucking every day. Rice and beans, rice and ketchup. Or if you fucking had eggs, bro, for breakfast, rice and eggs.
Yeah.
We call them arroz con sombrero.
Yeah, but that's so true, man. And like, that's why, and like, growing up the way I did, and then appreciating the things the way I did, and you know, developing the mindset I did. That's why, like, the more success I get, quote unquote, the richer I get, the more I'm going to do with it. The more I do with it, you know, like, and I feel like a lot of us don't break through because we just aren't ready for what we're in store for. Yeah, you know what I mean.
I believe that 100%. I know if I would have blown up off the first song that got me any attention, what was that, 7 years ago, I had a song called Hop in the Benz. And it was like the most, I was like 18 or 19 or maybe even younger. And it was like a depressed ass like emo song, you know? Imagine if that would have blown up and that would have been who I had to be and become. You know, my fucking career would be over by now.
Well, yeah, we see that a lot. You know, like a lot of people think money issues, right? We can't manage a $50,000 a year salary, $100,000 a year salary, but you want to be a millionaire. Oh, if I was a millionaire, all my problems would be gone. No. You would have 10 times the problems, bro. Yeah. Because you don't know how to deal with what you got right now. You're only amplifying, and people say money's the root of all evil. I don't agree with that. Money amplifies who you are. If you're a gambler, if you waste money on all this crazy shit, the more money you have, the more you're going to do that with. Yeah. You know, I'm one of the dudes, like, I hit the people up on the bridge all the time, dude. I carry a stack of ones, and my friends make like joke with me, oh, hit the strip club today? Yeah, no. I'm like, yeah. Like, I carry a bunch of ones because I'll give $5, $6, $7 to someone at the bridge who has a sign up, or, you know, that's the type of stuff I do. I don't have a lot, but, like, what I do have, I try to give, you know? Exactly. Like, I donate to my church. It's not a lot, but I try to give.
It's like karmic, also, if you believe in karma, like, you're getting something from the universe. The universe isn't going to appreciate that you're not giving anything back.
Yeah, and that's who we are as people. Yeah. We want. But we don't want to be the people that gives. You know, like, let's say if everyone had the same approach, right? I'm going to give you everything I have because I believe in you, and I hope you get better. If you had that same approach and you had that same approach, it's going to come around.
But the whole world would be a better place.
But that's the thing. Everyone wants this to happen, but no one wants to be the person to do it.
Exactly. Yeah. No. They don't want to be weak either because we are in America. This country is about individualism. It's about working for yourself. You didn't, or not taking any handouts, stuff like that. So it's like people may think that they would feel weak, or the weak one out, who's the only one, who's helping.
Yeah.
When you're in a dog eat dog world, you know what I mean? It's very hard to feel compassion whenever, like, you're Puerto Rican, right?
Yeah.
In Puerto Rico, people don't have a lot of money, but they do, however, enjoy their lives way more than we do here.
Oh, for sure, dude. They meet up. The car meetups, like everyone's on the block.
Weekend,
everyone's playing music. Yeah, it's a party. Like, because it's like we don't have a lot, but what we do have, we're gonna do the best with.
And your whole family's there. They're all dancing. Everybody's always dancing. Everybody's always singing. Over here, you work for the most people. Not everybody, but you work, sleep.
Do it again.
And that takes away a lot of, like, makes you feel isolated. It takes away a lot of the community that we in Latin American countries have. It's like if you're down and out in Puerto Rico, your tío, tía, la prima van a venir, like everybody's gonna come help you. A lot of those people lived without electricity for years.
Yeah.
And they lived like that.
Yeah, but they find...
They're probably still more happy than we are over here.
It's just appreciating where you're at, man. Like, I always use the analogy of like a race, right? Like let's say a 5K.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can win first place.
Mm-hmm.
You get the same medal as the person who wins second, third, fourth, unless it's like an official race.
Yeah, unless there's
like,
money.
Yeah, you have people who just balls to the wall to get first, and they ignore the entire race. Mm-hmm. Right? And you have people who run the race, and their goal, I want to finish a race, but like, this is a process for me. I'm going to build and you get to see the trees, you feel the wind, you see the little kid cheering you on with a sign who you don't know, but this little kid's happy. You give them a high five. Now you feel like, that's the analogy of life, man. Everyone's trying to get to the destination and they're ignoring the entire road.
Yeah, that's what they
when
say.
There's so much growth that can happen in that process. And we're all racing, but we're all racing ourselves. Yeah. Like, that's how, if you approach it that way, like, we're in a race. There's a destination to be met, but don't ignore the process and the journey and all the beauty and the lessons and the relationships and everything. And, a lot of people will bury relationships and burn bridges because they just want to get to this destination. Then you get there and you're alone and everyone hates you and you're not happy because it was never about the destination. The process was supposed to build you so when you get there, you can enjoy that. Yeah. But we get there and we ignore it.
I've ruined a lot of relationships, burned a lot of bridges young, trying to, get to the destination.
Same.
Just not realizing, every action you do has a outcome.
Every action has a reaction. Physics.
Physics. Yeah. There's nothing that we could do about that, and the funny thing is not having action also has a reaction too. So it's like life is going to be hard. It's never easy. Either it's hard now and easy later, or easy now and hard later.
Choose your hard, bro. Because I feel like if you choose to do the thing now, it's going to be hard. Yeah. And then it doesn't get easier. You just get better equipped at dealing with it. So essentially, you deal with harder things better. So it seems easy.
Exactly.
Or you can take the easy road here and not have a choice about the hard later.
Yeah. You can't do anything about it unless you I don't know, you're like those 75-year-old British guys who just started rapping. They just blew up. What's their names? Like Lynn and Ronnie or some shit like that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the UK rappers. Bro.
Yeah, they're like 75 and they just started their rap career and they're making millions. Like crazy how that shit works.
But you can't. I mean, if that's how you want to live your life for that, hopefully I get that moment. Hopefully you're leaving everything out of your control. You're not controlling anything. Mm-mm. You're just hoping and wishing, and one day.
That's one thing that my mom always used to say. I'd be like, Mom, I wish. She'd be like, you could wish in one hand and shit in the other. Which one's gonna fill up faster? So meaning it kind of sounds bad, but it's not. It's a good lesson because you're not. If you sit back and just wait for something, it's never gonna come. No matter how bad you manifest it.
It may, but
it might.
Do you want to bank on that?
No, exactly.
Or do you want to be I'm going to push for it,
Gotta
Like,
keep
which
pushing.
which one are you gonna get faster? You just sitting there and be like, hopefully this $1 million falls on my lap.
Yeah.
Or working, grinding, developing,
Doing something.
growing.
Yeah.
Like, you're probably going to reach your destination faster there. It's like starting the race and being like, man, I hope a car comes and picks me up and takes me to the finish line.
Yeah. One thing I noticed is about people, because people would assume because of like maybe they had a bad life or something happened to them that they're like due or they're owed something. Like, I had all this bad stuff happen to me. I need, to.
It's my time.
It's my
I'm
time.
due.
I'm due. And like that makes sense. Like I could understand where people were like coming from with that one, but it's like a lot of the times they'll sit and be miserable that all that bad stuff happened to them, and then that they don't have what they want, but then they still won't do anything about it.
I heard someone say you enter this world on your back and you leave on your back.
Yeah.
Like, we aren't owed anything.
No.
We aren't owed a damn thing. And if that's how you go about your life, and this may be a little extreme, if that's how you go about your life, you're never going to find what you're looking for.
Never.
Because you aren't owed shit.
Mm-mm.
Like,
if anything, we owe the world.
we do. Dude, like, think about the possibility. Like, how am I here?
Mm-hmm.
There's 1,000,001 little swimmers
Yeah.
who go in there, and you won.
Yeah.
You won.
Yeah.
You're here.
And then if you break it down, like being born where you were being born to the parents you had, all these variables that set you up to be who you are. Like, when you think about that stuff, the chances of the odds go way up. You know what I mean? It's like millions to one that we're even here, sitting here right now.
Yeah, like, I could have got hit by a fucking truck coming down here.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Like, I got to wake up today.
Yeah.
What am I about to do with this gift? What am I about to do with this gift? I got hopefully another 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the crazy thing. The billionaire across the country has the same 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Bleeds the same way I do if you cut him. Puts his pants on, unless you're a fucking acrobat.
Yeah.
One foot, then the other. We all have the same opportunity. We don't have the same circumstances. Mm-mm. We all have the same opportunity. Like, if you want to become, it's so easy to become a millionaire nowadays. Yeah. Fucking start rating toys on YouTube, millionaire. Yeah. There's a 10-year-old doing that.
We're in America too.
Yeah, dude. Like, the opportunity is there. Are you going to go and take it? And if you're owed it, go and take it.
So I think that you would probably relate to this a little bit because you were in real estate. But like, everything in life is basically sales. Like, everything that you're selling yourself, you're selling, everything. Like, you know what I mean? You're selling.
Yeah.
You're constantly selling something, whether you're making money off of it or not. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be able to navigate, like, the no's. You have to be able to capitalize on the yeses. You know what I mean?
Dude, it's all, and it boils down to this: attention. That's the currency. No. Time is the currency, but attention? You want this person's attention in music. You want these people's attention in painting. You want this client's attention in selling a house. You want attention. There's 1,001 real estate agents in Pittsburgh alone. Yeah. How do you get your clients? You get their attention. Mm-hmm. How are you going to do that? Like, that's what it boils down to. Why do we post on social media? Attention. Why do we foster relationships with people we are like and we connect with? Attention.
I would agree. Some people do. I will think that though that you do have people in this world that just want to have that sort of meaningful connection. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's a good connection.
Yeah.
Or a good attention.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
like,
yeah, I see what you're saying.
If I, and this is the thing, I portray myself to be rich and flashy. I'm getting attention, right? Yeah. I'm not rich. I'm not flashy. It's all a show. Yeah. You get this attention. Now this person wants
you to be that
your
way.
attention because you're rich and flashy. You want their attention, but it's not mixing. So now we got people fucking people over, and it's like using you for your money, and it's like that's when we start getting all that shit. It's like you didn't get the attention you needed. I feel like at the end of the day, it's all about attention. It's good attention or bad attention.
They say that any publicity is good publicity. I don't know how true that is now, but just any sort of people will do outrageous stunts just for a little bit of that attention.
Yeah.
Like, remember when they would go into the Walmart and eat the ice cream?
Why are they doing that?
For attention.
Attention.
Yeah.
Is that good attention?
No.
It's not sustainable.
No.
Right? Because why do you want that attention? Because I want to become popular. Because I want money.
Yeah.
Okay, now you have this money, but you're known as a horrible person.
Yeah.
No one wants to be around you.
Yeah.
Like people are like, this dude's horrible. I don't want anything to do with this dude. Now you have the money. Now what are you doing?
Yeah, and then there's the people who are good people, play terrible characters, like for social media. They might still be good, but their character's fucking awful. And now everywhere they go, they're associated with that awful character that they made. It's fucked up.
It's crazy.
That's branding, though. You brand yourself. You got to be very aware and cognizant, like whenever you're in the public, like about what you say, what you do, what you wear. Like even like you, like you probably put a lot of time into that logo. You wanted that logo to represent your branding in the best way that you could. So like I see you got the lightning bolts, the guns right there. You know what I mean? Like it gives like an offensive, like a attack. Like we're attacking. You know what we.
It's me.
Exactly. And that's why you put all that stuff there. So when people looked at that, then they would have at least a little bit of a slight idea of what this was about. You know, a lot of people, they just take a picture of themselves and put it out there, and they put a song out there, but they don't know who their market is. They don't know who they're trying to reach. They don't know. They put something out there and they're like, everybody's going to love it. But no, it's either a small group of people love it or nobody loves it. You know what I mean? It's like you got to hit that market. Like I grew up with horses. My parents raced horses. That's like a big thing in like Latin culture is like horse racing. And I would work with horses a lot, and I would wear my like little country clothes because I was always working, you know, and I would take TikTok, and turns out people loved that shit. People love this like guy with the horses rapping, you know, and then all of a sudden for a fucking good 2 years, all of my like biggest fans were these horse girls. I've hit that niche. I hit that market. Maybe do I get the fans that I really wanted to hit? Maybe not, but still I got fans and I hit that shit like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so many small lanes to navigate in. Like you can be like he said he made dark wave music. Like that's anybody who listens to dark wave music is gonna like dark wave music. You know what I mean? It's such a small little niche. So you make that. Who's your
target audience?
People who like dark wave music. Hip hop's a little different though because you have so many different subgenres.
And you have so many people who listen to hip hop. You can be in the suburbs listening to hip hop. You can be in the trenches listening to hip hop. You can be in the best schools. You can be in the worst schools. You can be like, you can. There's so many niches in that.
The most hardcore fans in hip hop aren't even in the United States. They're in Europe probably. That's why so many rappers go over to Europe and make so much money, because a lot of them. That's
same with basketball.
Oh,
go overseas, you make so much money.
Yeah,
can't make it in the NBA, but
you make so much money overseas.
Yeah.
It's like it's
find your market,
kill that fucking
and
market.
kill it. Attack.
Yeah.
All right, bro. So I like to end with this question. When this episode, people are listening to this, right?
Yeah.
They're in their cars, they're at the gym, wherever they're at home. The episode's over. What message do you hope the listeners take after listening to this episode?
I mean, it's okay to be the underdog. It's okay to be looked at, as like people will clown you until, you give them a reason to love you. And most of the time when everybody has the reason to love you, they still will hate. So focus on what you love, what you're passionate about, and just never stop. I don't care if you're making pottery. If that's what you love to do, don't let anybody ever tell you that you can't do that. And that's pretty much, be relentless.
Hey, you gotta have the air horn if you're Hispanic. Where can people follow you if they want to listen to your music or follow your story and continue on?
Available on all platforms. Adara, Adara47. You can just Google me, Adara47. You'll find other podcasts, other articles. describing, you know, my message and everything going on, you can follow me on Instagram at Adara47. And yeah, just like I said, man, always grinding, staying relentless, you know, never stopping. And stream, activate, coming soon.
Go follow him. Go listen to his song. Go watch the video once it drops. Hopefully by the time this episode drops, the video's out.
Yeah.
So go follow Adara47. Good dude. Good music. This is the One With Adara47, and we're out.
Let's go.
Later, bro.
You gotta activate. All you do is agitate, so back to play. Then we flip it for 100K, my brother paid. Now we move it to another state, I'll blast the space. Float on tracks, I had to levitate, but either way, you can't get it from the back, but you ain't here to stay. Hoses, bro, they do the most, but stay persona's fake. Coast to coast, I need a show, I think I need a raise. It's two-tone, look like night and day. You can be my pride of bay, I know you want some Cartier. Had to take the heart away, and you can get a car, girl, my crib look like a